Hello, viewers, to another stream of Art Lounge Alley. I am your host, and I'm going to be jumping into Basics Part 71 in just a minute, right after I introduce newcomers to this page right here. And what is this page? Well, this is the Art Lounge Alley. It seems like when I'm introducing this page, classical music starts to kick in. This is 2 days in a row. Well, anyways, yeah, this is the Art Lounge Alley Patreon page. There are 6 tiers altogether. Each one is very different from the next. I'm going to do a brief overview so you guys, those of you who are just tuning in for the very first time, can see what's going on here. So, Tier 1 official patron, it's really here for its affordable price, $2 per month. Gets you access to the Discord server. It's a channel that brings everybody together and to create like a community of like-minded individuals, people who are interested in art, people who are interested in all sorts of things, really, and to have a place for everybody to come to every day, get to know one another, create connections, network, share ideas and thoughts and expression. That's basically what the Discord server is for. And you will also get your name listed in the credits. So once you guys start pledging to these tiers, I'm going to start doing credits at the end of the stream as a way of saying thank you. Next, we got Tier 2 All Access Patrons. For this one, it's $5 per month. You get access to all of my work, basically. And you guys get access to exclusive content, meaning things that are not going to be posted to any other social media platform. It's only going to be exclusive for patrons. You guys are going to get to see it, and nobody else will. But you get also early access to finished pages, so whatever it is I'm going to be finishing up, you guys are going to get to see it before anybody else. And then I'm going to be posting it onto those social media platforms much later, probably like a week later or so. You get work in progress, behind the scenes, and of course all the previous tier benefits like the Discord server and your name listed in the credits as well. Next we got Tier 3, Critique Submissions tier. This is where you guys get to participate and be part of the Art Lounge Alley stream. So for $15 per month, every Friday, I'm going to be doing critiques. And when you guys submit your work, I'm going to be doing a live critique on Fridays from 8 until 10 p.m. Showing you guys, giving you hands-on instruction using Clip Studio Paint, where you can improve on your drawing, what you could do to just generally improve. And yeah, that's going to be on every Friday. And there's a couple of things to read here. I suggest you guys check that out. You could do that by going to the About section of the Twitch channel, and you will see the Patreon page listed all the way on the right-hand side of the screen. You guys can also get access to all of the previous streams by heading over to the videos section and clicking, filtering the videos by collection. And that's going to open up folders for each of the streams that you see throughout the week. And that way you guys can catch up if you missed any of the previous streams, as well as a folder that has all of the special intros there. So things that I've done previously, I store them in that folder, and you guys can check those out as well. Next, we got Kickstarter patrons. That's Tier 4, $25 per month. Gets you a high-resolution digital painting done of you live on stream. That's on Thursdays from 8 until 10 p.m. Once you guys pledge to this tier, it requires you to send in a photo of you from your head down to your chest. And I encourage you guys to get creative. You know, wear masks, put on all sorts of types of glasses, make expressive faces, wear hats and accessories. I think that would make the portrait more fun. It will be a fun stream. It will be a pretty cool outcome, but it's not required. You guys can send me a simple photo of you from your head down to your chest, and I will do a high-resolution digital painting of you, which at the end, once it's finished, I'm going to send to you, and you could do what you will with it. And of course, you get all the previous tier benefits. Next, we got Tier 5 Artist Promotion, $25 per month. And this one is limited to intermediate or advanced artists. So those of you guys who have a portfolio, who've been developing work, who have some interesting work that you want to share with an artistic community, or those who are interested, this is a perfect opportunity. Introduce somebody who isn't an illustrator, for example, to the stream, and let them know, that their work is welcome, and it's going to funnel viewers to their channel, because I'm also going to be posting their link, whether it's social media or it's their personal website, prior to the stream and right before I introduce them at the beginning of the stream. You guys get 5-minute airtime. It does require you to submit a 5-minute video talking about your work, showcasing your work. That way you could introduce it the way you'd like. I'm not going to miss any information. You could introduce it in a creative way that you spend making. And there are some tips, there's some requirements, there's some ideas for each of the artists submitting, what you could do with it. So I encourage you guys to take your time, read through it on the Patreon page. And if you got any questions, please ask away during the stream, after the stream, on any of the social media platforms, and I'll write you back. I'll let you know what you got to do. Next, the last one, which is Tier 6 private tutoring. 15 spots open. You guys get 4 videos per month, 1 video per week. It's a 30-minute video showing you what you could do to improve your drawing. So it does require you to submit your work. It's not limited to any skill level. So you could be a total beginner, and you're more than welcome to join this tier. I will be assigning you guys homework. I will also send you a PSD file that I'm going to be working on as I demonstrate, and I give you guys step-by-step instructions and hands-on input. Through the Clip Studio Paint program, I'm going to be drawing over what you submit on the different layers, so that way you guys can explore it at your own pace and time. There's going to be that homework part of it as well, where I'm going to assign you guys things to do throughout the week to keep the fire going, to keep practicing, keep drawing, and work your way towards the next video that I'm going to be sending you. You'll also get a private Discord channel, which I think is an important feature. It allows you guys to send me any questions you have throughout the week, any comments you got, any questions you have about the video or the stuff that I'm going to be demonstrating for you guys. And you could also post your progress there. So whatever it is, you could upload it into that channel, into that chat, and I'll write you back. And that's for each person. So every person, all the 15 members who pledge to this tier, you guys are all going to have your own private channel between me and you, and nobody else is going to have access to it. That way, you're free to ask whatever questions and comments you got. So that pretty much does it, y'all. As I mentioned, you can always check this out at your own pace at the About section of the Twitch channel, where you'll find the Patreon link. So that does it, y'all. Let's get into today's stream. So where did we leave off yesterday? So I'm getting into shading. And we started off yesterday with doing shading with the light source being directly on the face. And this is probably the most challenging one, because there isn't such contrast between the shadows. As you guys could see in this example, the most amount of shadow that you're going to see is right below the chin, like under the chin, under the jawline. That's the darkest area, since the light source is hitting it directly on the face. In this example, you guys could see that it's under the nose, as similar as it is here. It's under the nose. This is what this example over here demonstrates. It's basically the same model, but it's just showing you how much light the face is receiving and where the shadows are going to be seen the most. But this right here, what you guys are looking at, it's something that I worked on, and I highly encourage you guys to pick up some clay. You know, it's not too expensive. I don't remember. Maybe this is like, I don't know. I'm going to say maybe at most $10. At most $10. And it's a big chunk of clay. Like, this is just part of it. It's like, I'm going to say maybe a third of it even. But yeah, it's a big chunk of clay. And it's really good because it stays pliable, but it's also hard, you know, so it's like, it's pretty firm, but you could always subtract and add things and shape it and play around with it, really. But what's really useful about it is if you take the time to actually construct a really realistic face, not only are you going to learn more about the face, you know, by sculpting it and understanding, you know, as you're starting out, let's say with an egg shape, and then slowly creating the parts and forms and trying to build on top of a very smooth surface, you'll understand features. And the reward, the biggest reward, or bigger rather, because, you know, the former is pretty rewarding on its own. But the bigger reward as well is going to be you could use it under the lamp, and it's going to allow you to study the face in different positions and different angles. You could understand the features. Like, I didn't really spend too much time on the lips, which I should, you know, one of these days when I'm sitting and watching a series, which really has been very rare these past few, I'm gonna say like months maybe. But yeah, you could just sit there and you could sculpt it. And it's a lot of fun, actually. Like, once you get into it, just like drawing it, it becomes kind of addictive. And once you do that, then you could use it for light study. You know, you could put it up against your lamp and see, you know, where do the shadows form in this position? Let's say if the light is directly on it, or if it's, I don't know if you guys could see it. No, you can't. But if the light source is coming, let's say, from the left side, and you could see how the shadows are forming on the face, what parts end up catching light, you know, what parts are in shadow, as you could see here. So it just generally gives you a good understanding of it. And it's yours to maneuver. You know, unlike photos, you're only restricted to whatever the photo angle is. But with this head model, you really could change things around. And yeah, unlike buying, let's say, which you could do, you know, if you're really, really against this idea, you could get yourself a head and just use that as a study. But I think you gain so much from playing around with clay. And who knows, you might actually like it even more and pursue sculpting. There isn't a better or worse when it comes to all these mediums. It's just, what do you enjoy the most? So yeah, highly encourage you guys to pick that up, get some clay, and study the face. You know, you might even want to take it even further and start studying different parts of the body. But yeah, in this example over here, it's really challenging because there isn't that much contrast. It's very subtle when it comes to shading, right? Like, it's not as contrasting. But today, well, actually, I'm gonna do a little bit more work over here just for the sake of warming up. It's a good warm up. It's predominantly done. There's just a little shadow in the hair area. Notice I am keeping a distance from the tip of the pencil. I'm not holding it all the way over here. It really gives me a better scope of what's going on in the drawing, how my lines are turning out, and how they're affecting the entire drawing, really. This is a little country going on. Is Pretzel putting on country in the... And I would have been cool with it if lyrics didn't start kicking in. I'm not going to spend way too much time. As I mentioned, this is just really good warm-up to get all the things that I need to remember checked. As I mentioned, keeping a distance from the tip of the pencil, that's 1. Keeping it light and gradually working it up to being really dark, that's 2. I haven't really done much sketching here because we're just layering, but that would be 3. Sketching out your subject first, making sure everything fits within the parameters you expect it to be in. Notice how other parts of the face follow the shadow placement. So over here you could see that there is more shadow forming. As I mentioned prior to starting this one, that the light source is favoring a little bit more on the right side here. The shadows on the left side being cast by the light source coming from the right side are darker on this end, even though, as you see here, it really is supposed to just show how the light source is pretty much on directly on the face. But I'm gonna say, based off of this model, that the light source is slightly angled more towards the right side, and that's why you're seeing darker shadows on the left. So good little note to remember when it comes to shading is you're bringing things into light by keeping it light, and you're taking things further back by adding shadows. So, you know, in this example here, you got shadows on the side of the face, but they're getting darker and darker as you're setting a feature further back. So, for example, the inner part of the ear isn't going to be receiving as much light as, let's say, the earlobe or the external part of the ear. So because of that, you're going to send it further back in dimension by making that area darker than the other areas. All right, I think this would be pretty good, or rather just good enough for a warm-up. And I'm going to just start with, I'm going to say, another head, which is going to be the right side of the light source coming from the right side. So as you see, I made the circle a little too high up. And I'm still going along with my goal of making sure the entire page is filled with as much detail as possible. So because I drew lightly, I'm able to just shift things down a little bit, not to touch like the chin as much or overlap it, because really I just want to give you guys a good example. As always, I'm gonna draw these guides. splitting the face down the middle. And for some of you who are wondering, who are tuning in for the very first time, the benefit of those guidelines is to ensure that both halves are equal to each other. You don't want to have one, let's say, eye that's a little bit lower, the other one is a little bit higher. It's going to break the drawing. And you want to spend less time trying to figure that out and more time really nailing down details and understanding the face better. Whereas if you don't include those guidelines, you're going to wrestle with that. You're going to be like, oh, I have to erase it. Now it's a little too high. Now it's a little bit too low. This kind of saves you that hassle. It cuts the time in half. And it allows you to get your eye adjusted to seeing the face in its proper proportions. And the biggest reward coming from that. That's essentially what you're doing with all this, is that you're getting your eye used to proper proportions so that you don't have to continuously draw these guides. Eventually your eye is just immediately going to recognize, that's off, because you've trained your eye to see proper proportions and understand where things misalign or look warped or, that sort of thing. But yeah, having this line down the middle also allows you to, I want to say, how should I put it? It scopes down your vision, basically. So instead of looking at an entire head and trying to compare, you kind of divide things to make, to give your scope of vision a little bit more definitive areas to compare. You could say, okay, well, this eye is pretty close or X amount different, distant from this middle line. So this eye is, let's say, just a little bit further away. And now you're going to measure that same distance for the other eye. So this is just like your guiding stick, almost like you're making sure that things are relative to it, have the same distance on both sides. I want to say that is the biggest benefit of having that line down the middle. So I'm going to quickly put a place mark for the nose and the lips as well. Still keeping it pretty light. So similar to how you saw it here, I'm going to draw an example of where the light source is coming from. What is going to be in light and what is going to be in shadow. a little bit more of a simplified version, and you guys will see specifically on this one what the benefit is. Like, why draw the drawing twice? So almost done with this one, and I'll be able to give you guys a better understanding here. And for those of you who haven't, who are just tuning in, who haven't seen the previous talk, it's just a different, or a quick summary, rather, of how the light source coming from the right side, like drastically, or dramatically rather, affects the face and all the features on it.
All you gotta do is hold on, it's not too late. All you gotta do is hold on, it's not too late. All you gotta do is hold on, all you gotta do is hold on, I told you I got you, I got you. I told
So this is what you're going to be seeing here, basically. Where the this is meant to just show the direction of where the light is coming from. It's not really supposed to show you like all the details of how shadows form in that light. It's just a dramatic way to explain it, or to bring your attention to like, okay, where is the light source coming from in this case? Because it could be a little bit challenging. Like in this case, if you don't know what you're looking for, really, it's good to have this example to say, okay, well, this is kind of demonstrating what the face would look like with light going directly on the face. So in the same example, it's here, it's indicating that the light source is really dramatically coming from the from the right side, as opposed to straight onto the face like you see it here. This music reminds me of Machinarium. And if you guys still haven't played that, I highly encourage you guys to check it out. You could even find a preview for it in the highlights folder. So if you go to the video section in Twitch and you filter based on collections, you will see a highlights folder where I upload all the special streams, special intros, special outros, and there you will find an intro to the game Machinarium. It's a puzzle game. It's called it's designed by Amanita Game Designs, which is one of my favorite companies at the moment when it comes to games. Very well done. One of the things that I really like about it is that it is very much illustration based. The entire world is drawn basically and animated, and you just have to see it. It's very unique, a very unique style as far as the illustration go. Very unique game as well, and the storyline is fantastic. I've now replayed it at least 3 times with different people. I introduced it to partners and friends and played it with them and enjoyed it just as much as I did the first time, because it's so well done. It's such a great game. All right, I'm spending a lot of time on this little example here. So going back to the main drawing, still time to develop it. see in this, I kind of brought up one eye a little bit higher than the other. And I really want to avoid doing that. As I mentioned, that really breaks the image. And something I was talking about yesterday, when it comes to shading especially, nothing is as white as the paper. And you could use that that contrast for highlights, for like just little areas here and there to really bring out the image. But regardless of how light something seems on a face, especially when you're drawing from real life, it's never as white as the paper. It's a common pitfall for those who are just starting out, who are practicing, and people who really get into the nitty-gritty details. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've come across people who are doing hyper-realistic work, right? Like every strand of the face, every single, like it's almost like cellular level, where they're like, you could see like all the little lines on the hand, you know, if you were to bring it up close, and you could see all these little dividing lines there, here as well. Like, they would go down to that level of detail. But one thing that they miss is this incredible high contrast, where the skin is as white as the paper, and then they'll do like really dark shadows where they see shadows, and that instantly breaks it. It flattens the image. So regardless of how much detail they're putting in to bring out dimension, it still flattens the image because parts of the face are as white as the paper, and that really that high contrast ruins the illusion of 3-dimension. So as you guys see, I did like a light coat, a light layer over the entire drawing, to say that is the lightest point on the face. Just not satisfied with with the placement of the eyes and their size, really. Something is off. And I don't want to overwork it to try to fix it. I'd rather just start from scratch when it comes to that. Man, time really is flying. For some reason, it feels like it's going a lot faster than before. And it could be that I'm really getting into the drawings a lot more now. These past few weeks, I guess. So notice that it's the same idea. I'm kind of like dividing the face in half to demonstrate like where most of the shadows are falling. But you're going to see just subtle, and that's what I'm trying to work my way towards in layers, the subtle shading differences. So unlike you see it here where it's just like a solid basically covering it, you'll see how certain things are going to be pushed back, some things are going to be brought towards the front, all within the shadow variation, I want to say. The gradation of shadows is going to vary. The inner part of the eye socket is going to catch a lot of shadow just because it's deeper set in the face, and it's not getting as much light since the light is dramatically rather coming from the right side of the face, same as it is here. It's since it's deeper set, it's really not going to catch any of it, and it's going to cast a shadow on the rest of the eye, basically, as you could see here, with only certain parts of it revealing, and I will highlight those the further I get into the drawing, like, once I establish more of the shadows. And as you can see, the further it goes around the face, like as you can see here, well, I guess since the light source is different here, as it curves further away, you could even see it on my finger, how it starts to get darker and darker and darker. So the same, my finger almost kind of disappears with the face itself as well. So the same idea is here. The further and further it goes around the face, the darker that area is going to get. And in this case, since it's such a dramatic lighting source, you can't even see what the detail on the ear is. So most of the shading is going to occur on the left side of the face. Even as far as the hair goes as well. So unfortunately I do have to rush this part. Because we are coming to an end for figure drawing basics for today. I will be back tomorrow, same time and place, for more figure drawing. I am going to take a 5-minute break to get ready for the next stream, which is going to be coloring comics. And today, I want to say, is going to be great because I am actually going to be coloring. You know, previous streams I was inking panels so that there would be panels to color. I'm happy to say I got a couple of them. I actually did more inking over the weekend as well, to give you guys some coloring content. So I'm gonna need to take a break for that. But if you guys do enjoy this content, remember to hit the like and subscribe button. They both help the stream, and of course are appreciated by yours truly. You guys can also check out all the previous streams. They're all in a folder, or a specific folder for each stream, which you can find by going to the videos section in Twitch, in the Twitch channel, and filtering based on collections, and you'll see folders created for each stream. And there you could catch up on any of the streams that you missed. You could also check out the highlights folder, which has special streams, special intros, special outros, that you can enjoy as well. So that does it all for figure drawing basics. I will take that 5-minute break and I'll see you in a few.